Hey guys, in front of me I have a Gates Serpentine belt and Gates idler. We're going to be putting these in a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee with about 70,000 miles on it. Chrysler doesn't really have a change interval for these parts. You look at the manual, you're not going to see much in there, just inspect and replace as necessary. But I'm going to replace them anyway just because, again, I think they should be changed roughly every 60,000 miles. That's what I'm used to doing. Selected Gates here, I've had a pretty good luck with their parts in the past. The actual idler pulley has a nice high quality bearing, which I'll show you in a minute. And it's a super easy job on this vehicle. There's not much to it. You could do it in your driveway with basic hand tools in maybe 10, 15 minutes if you're not filming. Filming actually made this take a little bit longer. But yeah, so let's take a look. Let's start getting into it. You can see that the actual idler itself has a nice NSK bearing, not some kind of cheap piece of Chinese stuff. Using the term nicely there. See if the camera is going to focus on it. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Sort of, maybe. But yeah, trust me, it's an NSK bearing, not some Chinese bearing. So I guess the first step is to put everything down, get all the parts out of the way, and take the top engine cover off and the intake, which is also very easy to do. Simply lift the cover off, move it out of the way. You're going to need to take a screwdriver. You see my Irwin multi-driver there. And just take off the band clamp that holds the intake to the air box. And there's another screw in the back on the throttle body, but that screwdriver is too big to fit back there, so time to get another one. Like magic, I have one. So just unscrew that. Wow, it's a beautiful day outside, isn't it? I don't know. Do you guys like these voiceover betters? Do I talk too much in my videos? Now, when you take this apart, be very careful because there is an emissions hose right there, and if you move that just the wrong way, that hose can break, and that's a lot of work to replace that. So just kind of work this thing off the airbox and off that little post on top of the motor. There we go. Make sure you take off the electrical connector for the intake air temp sensor in the back by the throttle body. Did I do that yet? Oh, giving you guys a better look. That's nice of me. Yeah, so that's the piece I was talking about. That hose right there with the ripples in there. That can break off right there. So just be very gentle around that piece, especially if your vehicle's on the older side. Not that this is, but the older they get, the more brittle they get. So I'm just going to cut a zip tie that I put here when I replaced the engine mounts, because the Christmas tree fastener broke. Gently separate the two pieces there, and again, you want to watch that electrical connector on the intake air temp sensor in the back, because it is attached to that intake pipe. It's probably the hardest part of the whole job right here, getting that intake pipe off. Now you can get a better view of just how much room you have to work with in front of the motor. There we go. So there's our belt. You can see the tensioner right there with the 3/8 square drive for a ratchet. You can see our alternator on the left. There's our crank pulley over the tensioner, over the alternator, over the idler, which we're replacing. And it is a little wonky, a little bit of slop in that bearing. Over our AC compressor, and then over the water pump back to the crankshaft. So the first step is going to be to relieve the tension on the tensioner. And then we can take the idler off. So first, just get your ratchet on there, relieve the tension on the tensioner, and slip the belt off wherever you can. I'm trying on the alternator there, but I think I end up moving over to the water pump or the idler or somewhere. There we go. I figured it out. And just remove the belt. Old belt is off. Well, it's actually in pretty good shape too for 70,000 miles. I didn't see any obvious cracking or no major signs of wear. But again, this is my wife's car. I don't want her to have to worry, or I don't have to worry about this belt breaking on her. Next step is to take our idler off. Like I said, there's a little bit of slop, and there's no slop in the tensioner. You want to check all your pulleys all the way around, make sure that everything is smooth, there's no grinding, no run out on the bearings. This is a great time to check all the accessories. Water pump feels good. Alternator feels good. AC compressor does too. Normally I'd replace that tensioner, but it's a $100 part. I didn't want to spend that money. So now you want to take a 13 millimeter socket. I think it was 13. Yeah, 13. And you want to undo that bolt that anchors the tensioner to the front and accessory drive cover. It should be torqued to about 18 foot-pounds. So it should be pretty easy to remove. Simply unscrew it. Come on, Joe, any day. There we go. And it's off. I'm probably looking at it off screen to see what kind of bearings in there. Yeah, so it was not a name brand bearing that I recognized. So now what to do is take our new idler, put the bolt in there, and fasten it back in. Again, torque to 18 foot-pounds. Hello, where am I? I'm probably blabbing about something. There we go. Let's just screw that back in. Now is also a good time to see if you have any leaks in the front end of the motor too. Make sure your water pump isn't leaking. Make sure your thermostat housing in the upper right isn't leaking. You get much better visibility like this. Once again, 18 foot-pounds. Click. Now it's time to get our new belt and simply put the new one where the old one once was. Now you'll see me struggle a little bit with this to get the new belt on because it is a little bit tighter. I found that the easiest way to do it is to actually get the belt on all of the pulleys except for the water pump pulley, because the water pump doesn't have any ribs in there or grooves in there. So you'll see me struggle a little bit, I think, to get it on the alternator pulley, but don't do that. Just go right to the water pump. See, there I go. I already got it on the water pump, but that's not going to work out so well. Get it up over the idler. Now I'm going to try to get the ratchet and slip it over that alternator pulley, but it's not going to work out as well. Just not enough room. So close, yet so far. Wow, what a nice hand. Change of plans. So let's get the belt on all of the ribbed pulleys, and then we'll get the pulley on the water pump, which should be a lot easier. While I'm fighting with this, I'd like to call out how easy it is to do a water pump in this vehicle too. Everything's right there. So easy to get to. Okay, so I got holding the slack in the pulley right there. And watch how easy it slips on. The belt slips on the water pump pulley once I relieve the pressure on the tensioner. Man, my arm is beautiful. There we go, just like that. Look at that, guys. New belt is on. Make sure everything looks good. Belt is on straight, not crooked. Now's also a good time to get some compressed air and blow out your engine bay while all the covers are off. Might want to throw a towel in on the throttle body or paper towel like I did. Guess maybe it's better without the audio, right? Because you guys don't have to hear the hissing of the compressed air. Then it's just a matter of reassembling everything. Don't forget to take that paper towel out of your throttle body, though. You don't want to get that sucked up in the motor. That will not be a good end to your afternoon or morning. Oh, nope, don't forget to take the paper towel out. Oh, there he is. Smart guy. There we go. Gotta wrestle with that intake pipe again. Again, don't break that emissions thing there. I forget what it has a name. It's escaping me at the moment, but that tube is crazy. Well, not crazy. But it's a long tube. It goes all the way over to the power steering reservoir, so you have to change the whole section out. So just be careful not to crush it or damage it. I think it was actually a service bolt out on that part. I think certain, I think maybe the earlier build dates were affected. They actually have an updated part. I don't remember off the top of my head if this vehicle's affected though. So just continue to wrestle with that intake pipe. Make sure you got make sure the end is on the air box and also on the throttle body. Then take your screwdrivers and just fasten it in place. Right where my right hand was, there's a little post that holds it. It's like a grommet or something. It'd be a little tricky to get back in. Alright, come on, Joe, it's in. Relax. There we go. Alright, so tighten the band clamp on, or the hose clamp on your, back by the throttle body. Don't forget to reconnect your intake air temp sensor. The engine controller will not be happy if you forget to reconnect that. Then take your trusty Irwin multi-tool, and I think it's a 9-in-1, so I love that thing. There we go, get smart, there we go. And tighten the hose clamp over by the air box. And now is probably not a bad time to start the vehicle and just make sure everything runs. Make sure the belt stays on, doesn't jump off. You can't hear it running. Oh, but you can see it running. Look at that. Hopefully I give you guys a shot of that. I think I do. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the belt racing by. So yeah, guys, it's a pretty easy job. I was filming and I'm up to what, 13 minutes? Okay, let's talk some more about this emissions thingy. Oh, we gotta put that zip tie back on, that's right. You wanna make sure you anchor that tube and the wiring really well so it doesn't rattle around. And again, I think I mentioned there was a Christmas tree fastener that anchors it to a hole in that intake tube, but that broke off when I was doing the work on the engine mounts. I have that video up on YouTube too if you guys ever need to put engine mounts in this vehicle. It's not fun, but it can be done. Okay, zoom back out. There we go. Now it's time to put our engine cover on. And just smack it in place. Just like that. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please stay safe, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Hopefully you can this video helps you out with your other Grand Cherokee projects. It's a great vehicle. Love it a lot.